Hello and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator, taking a Cessna 172 from Australia all the way to the UK. This time we find ourselves going from East Timor all the way through Indonesia, or part the way through Indonesia. It does cover a lot of ground. And this is going to be the journey. It's a low altitude airways IFR flight. We're going to skim along the islands here and then we're going to dart across the ocean like so, before landing at an airport called I don't know, Hasanuddin, or Wah, or as Wario would say, Wah! Yeah, so that's the journey today. We have to be careful, there's some very high terrain here. As you can see, I'll show you on Sky Vector, so we may go coming from the north potentially, but I kind of want to come in from the south and land at runway 31. We'll play that as we go. So I am tempted to change course on my way there. Potentially, I should probably add this to my... Yeah, I'm wondering if I should. To my... No, you know what, we'll play it as we go. We'll play it as we go. Like I say, we can always VFR it towards the end if we want to. So I'm taking 3 passengers this time. Now, last time I almost ran out of fuel. I say that, I got to 10% left. Turns out I'm able to take an extra 5 gallons of fuel. So I think that'll make up for the extra distance we've got to cover, because we are covering an extra 80 nautical miles or so. So that is quite a bit. In fact, a bit more than that. So... a little bit close, I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a little bit close, but we'll see how we get along. So another thing about this flight, it's going to be a very rainy flight. As you can see, it is absolutely pouring outside. So it should be pretty fun, potentially quite a bumpy ride, and it does look incredible. I've only done one flight with the rain, and yeah, it is remarkable, although it does obviously eat up your frame rate. Anyway, I am going to just go ahead and throw everything on, essentially. I know, bit of a silly way to do it. I think it's something like that. Let's see if I can work it out. Mixture control, should that be in? Should I have taken that out? Don't know, I think we've got to lean it. Something like that. Doing this without the checklist this time. Hey, look at that. There we go, I was able to work it out myself, and then we got to fully lean the mixture. Beautiful. 1000 RPM. Very good. Alright, FSEconomy. I think I'm only going to start it when I'm on the runway. Yeah, I think I'll do that. What's our wind? 5 knots, 4 knots. That's not actually that bad, it's just very rainy. So I think what we'll do is we'll taxi down to the end, and then I'm going to start FSEconomy just to really maximise my, my fuel loadout. It looks like we don't really need a pushback here, mate, so I'm afraid you are going to be decapitated. So if we just hit brand like that, boom. Yes, very good. Yeah, I'm doing this one a little bit quickly today, no particular reason, just feel like it. And interestingly, I can no longer get the purple line on the map here, and if I use this map, it's, well, I can't actually use it, which is rather frustrating. So I kind of have to just use the map in the Garmin to work out where I am, even though there's no purple lines at all, which is really frustrating. So I'm not particularly sure. I may need to uninstall it, reinstall it, potentially. But we'll see. Anyway, so we're coming up onto the runway. We're going to taxi down the end here, just so that we're facing the right way. I mean, which way would we be taking off? We'd be going into a headwind, so actually, yeah, we would be going down to the end of the runway, in this case. So something I don't think I've mentioned, I am going to be doing these every other week now. It is just a little bit too taxing to do these every week, it really is. So every other week should be comfortable enough for me. Hopefully I can keep the quality somewhat acceptable. But yeah, it just makes things a little bit easier for me. So the reason the weather is so bad here, I mean, you wouldn't even be allowed to really take off in this weather, in this sort of aircraft. But we're going to break the rules, we are. But it's so bad because the elevation is actually 1700 feet. Now our destination airport, Whiskey Alpha Alpha Alpha, it has a much lower altitude. In fact, it's only 44 feet above sea level, so we will actually be able to see the runway when we come into land. I'm skidding along. Whoa! Did not mean to Fast and Furious that. A little bit foolish of me. It's pretty cool that they do that though. It actually does affect the performance of the plane even on the runway. That is really cool. Alright, so let's line ourselves up here. Put on the parking brake. Perfect. Keep our RPM reasonable. Alright, so let's set our heading bug. We want to also set our altitude. I did not see what our cruising altitude should be today. And of course the flight plan stuff's not working. Why would it work? Right, do you know what I mean? Why would it work? Why would it ever work? It is a little bit funky the way it's messed up. Whatever, we're just going to hope that it can stick to the GPS and it won't freak out too much. That's the best we can really hope for, I think. Okay, we don't need any flaps on takeoff here. We got a mild crosswind / headwind coming from this sort of direction, so a westerly wind, that should be fine. We are going to set our altitude for, well, once again, we're going to go for 8,000 feet again. I thought that was alright. We're going to need to be if we do go over that mountain. Or that volcano. I think it might be a volcano, you know. Maybe while I'm on the flight I'll do a little bit of research. Yeah, that could be nice. Alright, anyway. That's what we want. We do want to set, you know what you can do? And I don't know why I wasn't doing this before. But you can actually set your airspeed as you go. So we're going to go for, that's a bit too fast. 71 knots, 72. 72 knots, we'll try and, yeah, pitch for that. Okay, FSEconomy. We'll need to start the flight. You have no aircraft rented. Hold please. Alright, that's better. So you saw it jolt there. That's the added weight of extra fuel, and it should be extra passengers. If I have a quick look here, it doesn't say, look, there should be passengers here. But there's not. I mean, I should add that myself, but I feel like I might mess it up, unless of course it's added it there. I don't know how much 170 pounds is, I have no idea. Nah, that seems like a normal person, right? Because if pounds are much less than kilos, that is about right, I think. Either way, we're not going to mess with nature here. So we've got 45 gallons, 83% fuel. As you can see, if you watched last time, you'll see that we had 40 gallons, we've got that little bit more this time. That should help us out. Alright, release parking brake. Throttle in. Away we go. Really want to try and keep it straight on such a slippery day. Could be quite dangerous, I imagine, if you go down quite fast speeds. Then again, we're not really travelling at fast speeds in a little Cessna. Alright, let's pitch it up. Alright, yep, looks like looks good to me. We're going to want our flight director on for heading for now. And we're going to want to increase that. I just realised I've messed all that up, haven't I? Right, what's our... Be nice if we could get a little bit of airspeed. That looks good to me. Autopilot that up. Okay, can you handle it? Yeah, don't sink. Good shout there, my man. We're going to want to go ahead and make a left here. So we want to try and line up the GPS. We actually go past the GPS. So turn it back this way. Blimey, it is a cloudy day. But our altitude is increasing. We're holding 71 knots, it would seem. You can hear and see that rain. Going through some clouds now. What's the outside air temperature? 10 degrees, so we don't need to worry about freezing or anything. once that purple bar there, once we intercept that, I think I'll then switch it over to GPS. Might want to encourage that a little bit. Can't see a thing. Not sure what I'm going to do for a screenshot today. We'll work that out as we go. Not sure why it's taking so long. Could be because of this 10 knot crosswind now. It's a very heavy crosswind. That should be good for lift though. Alright, I'm going to see what happens if I switch it over to GPS now. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and hit the nav button. That should... yeah, that's about right. Good, a nice balanced turn. You're not trying to get onto it for dear life. Altitude's still increasing. It's going to have to go up a little bit more than that, because look at how high this terrain is. Let's keep it going, shall we? We are supposedly... well, we're almost 3,000 feet above the ground, and well, there's the ground right there. That's a little bit better. Okay, cool, yeah, we are going to follow the coastline here, so hopefully we should get above these clouds where it won't be raining. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, there's our first sign of daylight. Yeah, look. Okay. And we're just coming up to 4,000 feet, so that's pretty good. We're currently, our fuel consumption is in the green actually. It's just under 12 gallons per hour, which for a climb is very nice. We can keep it at that for the duration of the climb. I'll be pretty happy. Then we can level off, and we're probably going to go for, try and target a sort of 9 gallon. Ambitious, because I don't think it works that well. And it may not even be worth it, depending on the airspeed that we kind of get. We'll be dealing with a crosswind / headwind most of the flight, which also doesn't help us. That will increase our fuel burn ultimately. So, yeah, I don't know how this is going to go, but we'll see. We'll see. Alright, so we're approaching 6,000 feet. 6,000 feet, and I'm thinking maybe we just hold it at 6,000 feet. Mainly because it looks like those clouds are around that altitude, plus our outside air temperature is going to drop below 0 degrees if we go too much higher, in which case we'll have to go through the clouds in 0 degrees or lower in freezing temperatures, and that really could put us in trouble. So let's avoid that, shall we? Yeah, 6,000 sounds about right, at least for now. We're coming up to, what, 5,700? It's going to start levelling off in a bit. There we go. So now it's going to jolt a bit, but just a couple of 100 feet more and we are ready to go. So probably want to just push the throttle in a little bit just to help it make that final push. I'm going to bring the throttle mixture out slightly. Actually, do you know what? As we're at full throttle, need a little bit in there. Okay, 63 knots. That is very slow. Now we're there. Leveling off. I think we're just above sort of cloud level, kind of on par with it. This could be a little bit bumpy, potentially. But now we're going to start speeding up. I'm going incredibly slow. Alright, there we go. See a little bit of that acceleration now. Let's have a quick look at the EGT gauge, as well as just our RPMs in general. We want to keep it about there. About 70% should be fine for now. Throttle in, let's really build up that airspeed. Don't know why, but I find I get better results if I do it this way. If I build up the airspeed, get it across the 100 mark, and then pull off of it. Okay, there we go. Over 100. Throttle controlled 95%. Looking very good indeed, actually. Okay, nice. Let's pull it back slightly. It says about 75% is your normal cruise throttle, but I mean that's 10 on the dot right there. There we go. 50%. 100 knots. Fantastic. Well, apart from the weather, everything for us is going quite well. Speed's dropping a bit, but if we can hold it close to 100, I'm happy with that. Fuel consumption is 10, just under. I would like it to be slightly less, but if I'm going to lose a lot of... Alright. Still about the same. I mean, I'm sure it made the slightest difference. 76%. Just under. Okay, yeah, we need it about there. That's apparently the sweet spot for RPM. Okay, I guess that's it. Away we go. Alright, welcome back. We've got a little bit of a situation again. Got the low fuel warning, only this time I actually think I'm going to be on bingo fuel by the time I arrive, if I make it. I'm just watching it disappear. And we're going to have to take a more direct route. I've ignored the GPS. The airport, roughly, if I'm not mistaken, let me just bring up Sky Vector. It is around here. Trying to get my bearings by comparing it to Sky Vector, maybe even a bit further south of that. But we should see it once we pass this mountain. We have to be careful. You can see the top of that mountain here, or this volcano. I did say I was going to research it. I never did, sorry. But as long as we stay to the right of that, we'll be fine. To the right, however, if we go too far to the right, there is another one that is about 5,000 feet high. Mind you, that's pretty much the space we're going to be flying over anyway. So we pretty much just have to hold this course right now. So apparently to be a heading of 295. According to this, it looks like we're going to be okay. This appears to be the corridor that I'm looking at on Sky Vector. So I think we're just going to keep going as we are, really. That's all we can, that's the best we can do. My gallons per hour are currently about 8. I've been going a little bit slower just to preserve some fuel. I mean, we would have been out of fuel by now, which is kind of scary if I hadn't done this. Then again, we might have been further ahead. We would have been going a little bit faster, but still, it's a dicey one. It's going to be a dicey one, so let's see how it goes. Okay, so I've just managed to work out that the nearest... Let's do that again. Okay, so I've discovered two things. I've worked out how to use the whole nearest airport feature, and that is 47, just under 47 nautical miles away, which is very promising, so I'm a little bit optimistic that we might just about be able to do it. Especially once we get our descent going, we'll do a very slow descent, about 20 nautical miles out, I reckon. We can just about pull that off, and then hopefully then we'll be using much less fuel, obviously, as we make our descent, but we have to get over this mountain range. It is also a mountain range. The other thing I discovered is it's called Monkon Lompo Batang, I believe. Something like that. Can't really give you much about it. The pictures look really nice of it. You can see the clouds below the top of the peak. Yeah, it looks pretty awesome actually. It's I think our current course is fine. I think. The other thing I discovered was very interesting. We go, we do this, we can actually see the contours of where we're flying over. So once we get to about here, that's when we want to make our descent. Once we've cleared the mountains, or at least the highest points of it, past the peaks is mainly what I want to do. We can then start making our descent, but it's getting very dicey on the fuel front. It's, yeah, fingers crossed, we should be okay. Okay, I think we can begin our descent now. I also believe we can see the actual runway I want to use. That's it there, runway 31. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a slight course adjustment just so we can line up with it. Alright, let's desperately start looking at getting down to about 3,000. Not flight level, no, that's not it. Vertical speed mode, yes. About 800 feet a minute. Fortunately, we have this here, this function. For some reason, it wasn't letting me input the airport I wanted, and I have a feeling I'm going to have to do a cold, like a full restore of the game, a full installation, which really sucks. Let's also bring this down. Fuel flow in. Don't want to risk cutting off the engine. No, but this is good. This is very good. We're 12 nautical miles out, which is excellent. Making our descent now. We're going to take it all the way down to 3,000. The airport itself is only 44 feet, actually, above sea level. A stark contrast from where we've just been. I wonder if we can see anything. Nope, we're going through the clouds. It is raining again. I did give myself a break from the cloudy weather earlier, just to mix it up a bit. Just a bit of light cloud over the ocean. We're going to go for a rainy landing here. Hopefully we can pull it off. I dread to think how little fuel that is. Sometimes it's best just not to think about things, right? What's our fuel consumption here about? There we go, let's make it 4 gallons. I don't think we even have 4 gallons. Of course we don't. But so far we're looking good. We're almost 10 nautical miles out. We're so close. Just gotta hold it, but we've almost lined up, I reckon. A moment more and we can make a course adjustment. Okay, we've got a great sort of line here. So there's the runway there. I guess once we get to once we cross this river, I suppose, this little stream on the map, I think we can then adjust our heading, because it's runway 31. The runway itself, I don't know what the actual heading of the runway is. It's never exactly 31. I guess we'll just interpret it as it's 309. Okay, that's fine. So it's so that's what we want to do. So we're coming up to it now. I really don't know. Are we about to run out? I imagine there's a bit of leeway, like there'll be an extra gallon in the tank, sort of thing, is what it does. Cool, the runway's gone off the screen there. Can't quite see. I think we want to make that heading change now. So let's change it to 319. We'll also load it to 2,500 feet. I think we need to go, that's a bit... No, we're not quite there. Still, we're not too far off. We're 6.5 miles. We want to probably bring the altitude down a lot more. That was a bit laggy. Probably also want to increase the fuel mixture, because otherwise we'll lose the engine. Oh, there comes that rain. Here comes the rain. Da-da-da-da. Alright, that looks good to me. 319, please. Oh, yes. That's close enough, I'd say. Oh, no, I'm clearly going too far. Not 319, 309. He's running me, honestly. It's like I'm some sort of amateur. Alright, we can ignore this screen for now, other than the fact that we're 5 nautical miles out. We've still got to lose a lot of altitude. 3,000 feet. 1,000 per minute. I reckon we're just a couple of minutes out, actually, so I think we can manage it. I'm going to let the autopilot take care of things for a bit. Keep it steady. Our airspeed is absurd. We're breaking through the clouds. Gradually leaning in that fuel mixture as well. Luckily we're using next to no fuel at the moment. Certainly can't afford to. I would be declaring this an emergency, I reckon. There it is. There's our runway. Alright. Okay. 2,000 feet. Oh my goodness. This is... 1,300. Kind of making a controlled dive here. Bring it down some more. As long as the engine doesn't go. We're looking good. Continue bringing it down. Once we've got the altitude, we can adjust the airspeed quite quickly. Okay, there we go. We can see the runway a little bit clearer now. I think it's time to bring it off the autopilot. Yeah, I do think we want you looking down. Okay, this is good. This is very good, actually. Other than our airspeed, so we want to tank that somehow. We can kill our airspeed, not to mention it gives us a bit more time to get to the runway. Obviously, it's coming. Come on, keep going. Need those flaps. Oops, put it on. Not really sure what I'm doing there. Bit wild. What are they on? 67%. That's fine. Yeah, this is actually okay. We're coming in too high, but that's fine. Give it a little bit of throttle. No, maybe not much actually. We're still 700 feet away. We're still far too high. Gonna level off in a moment. Try and keep that there so you can see what I'm doing. I mean, we're about 20 knots too fast. Not so good. Okay. This should really kill off our speed. We're starting to lose it. Oh, baby. Oh, this is where you want a replay mode. I'm going to take it straight off here. Get this thing off the runway before we run out of fuel. As usual, where am I going? I should really look this stuff up. But I never do. Do I? I guess if we just follow it along, right? I don't see anything anywhere. Oops, wrong button. Flaps up. I think it's up here on the left. The problem is it won't let me zoom in really. It's this is all buggering up. Unfortunately, if you have a look at it, it's got to go across the map like this at the moment. That or I'm just being, oh no, I appear to be going the wrong way. That said, it looks like there's a little bit we can go here. Oh, there is. There's two ways we can go. Go up here on the left. Alright, can't wait till we come to a halt and we'll have a look at how much fuel we've actually got left. If that even is anything. We weren't even... No, we were fully mixtured. That was good, okay. Properly done, sort of. Not really, but good enough. Don't think we even have any lights on. Oh, okay. This is good enough for me. Could have gone much further. That's alright. I'm just going to bring this right round. So the next time it's pretty much just ready to go. And halt. Parking brake on. Ooh. Alright, are you ready? Moment of truth. Ooh, okay, we still had over a gallon left. 2 gallons, that is, actually. Sorry, we've got yeah, over 3 gallons. Still, that was close. That was really close. If we hadn't added those extra 5 gallons, we wouldn't certainly not have made that. If it hadn't been fuel efficient, we probably wouldn't have made it. That was very close, must say. But job done. That gave us some money on FSEconomy as well, about 2,800. Take off a couple of hundred, so maybe 2,500, which is nice. Apparently I had to do another 100-hour check or something. It wouldn't let me fly the plane with passengers, and I don't know why. Apparently I'd only done 15 hours in it, so I don't know why it's done that. I wonder if you've got the plane rented, does that count? Because I did have it rented for like a day or two straight. Maybe that did something, I don't know. But anyway, that was a little bit stressful. I think next time I'm going to do 2 shorter flights. Not have to worry about fuel. Anyway, it's time for something to eat, and this is something I've only ever had once before, and I've really been looking forward to making. So without further delay, and today's recipe is Nasi Goreng. This recipe comes from recipetineats.com, link down below. And for this you're going to need, it says 3 cups of rice. I've done 4 cups. You must make that the night before, leave it to cool down in the fridge overnight. We've got 2 chicken breasts here, only need the 1. I've got some chili oil. If you don't have any chili oil, just use one chili will do, with some regular olive oil or whatever oil of your choice. You want an onion, a couple of cloves of garlic, and you're going to need some sweet soy sauce. That is Kecap Manis is what it is. Sounds a bit like ketchup mayonnaise, doesn't it? But no, Kecap Manis is a key ingredient in Nasi Goreng. And an optional ingredient is shrimp paste, which I have decided to use here. Be warned though, it has a very potent smell, so if you really don't like the sound of it, you probably want to leave it out, but it really does add this salty dimension to it. And we've got a bunch of things here for the garnish. We're going to fry up a couple of eggs, we've got some chopped tomatoes, chopped cucumber, we've got a chili there, and some spring onions. A lot of things you can garnish this with. There's even more, you can even put some shallots on if you have those available. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put in perhaps a little bit too much of the chili oil. And then we're going to go ahead and fry the garlic, not even for a minute, really, once it gets nice and hot. Just give it a flash fry to infuse the flavours with the oil. Normally I do onion first, but this time, yeah, I'm going to do the garlic first. And yes, I'm using a shot glass there to store the garlic. Shot glass I think I got in Brighton, I believe. And then we're going to add in the onion. Nice and chopped this time. Give that a fry for a couple of minutes. Infuse the flavours of that into the oil as well. We've got ourselves some nice chili oil with garlic and onion in it. Make sure that's all in there. And we're going to go ahead and add our finely sliced chicken. You want sort of small strips, I think, for this. Works best. And you're going to want to cook these for a few minutes. Make sure they're pretty much, well, make sure they're cooked all over. You don't want to get yourself food poisoning, not with chicken. And then we're going to add in one of the key ingredients. 1 tablespoon, for now, of the Kecap Manis. Don't be afraid to be generous. It's very sticky, so I'm going to use the spoon to scrape that off. And this will give it a really sweet aroma. Now we're going to add in our 3 cups of rice. I know this you can't really tell if it's a cup or not. I had a cup next to me there, so I could roughly gauge what a cup was. And basically, this is roughly a cup of scoop here. And I decided that is nowhere near enough. I wanted to make 4 portions. This apparently is meant to be for 4 portions, but I wasn't too sure about that. So I will go ahead and add another half a cup there. I'll go on later to add in a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and cut that all up. And then we're going to mix all of that into the chicken. Not before we add 2 more tablespoons of the Kecap Manis. And then we're going to go ahead And we're going to add in the shrimp paste. Now the shrimp paste was a little bit different to, my shrimp paste anyway, was different to the one shown in the video on the recipe tin website. As you see, it's a very thick paste as opposed to a softer liquid that they used. And it's 2 teaspoons of this actually. So I wasn't really able to gauge how much that was. I think that might have been a little bit too much because it is very potent, I will say, and it is very smelly, but it does leave a lovely flavour. Once you eventually break it down, I ended up having to put this on for an extra 5 to 10 minutes. Really, you just give it a quick flash fry for a few minutes and it's done. But because the paste took a long time to break down and mix in, really had to sort of keep going and mixing it up, which, to be honest, did just kind of make the flavours, kind of brought out the flavours a little bit more. So there we go, it's looking pretty good now. Give it another little mix. Let's make sure it's all got that lovely brown colour of the Kecap Manis. And we can't see any more clumps of the shrimp paste. And it is ready to serve. And here it is. So we've got, we put a little bit of spring onion and the red chilli on top. We've got sliced cucumber, some tomatoes, and a couple of fried eggs, which were overdone because I put in the actual Nasi Goreng for a little bit too long, and I kind of forgot about the eggs. So the eggs aren't particularly runny, especially my partner's one there on the left. That one's it's very overdone because I think I flipped it over because she doesn't like the runny egg so much. But this was actually absolutely delicious. It's got a very unusual smell because of the shrimp paste. So if you're a little bit squeamish about that, you're not too keen on the idea of that, leave it out. The rest of it will absolutely do the job, I'm sure. But yeah, this was absolutely delicious. Probably my favourite thing I've made so far. And I will make this again soon, absolutely. I imagine with a runny egg, this would be absolutely amazing. Mixing that in with the rice, oh, so good. And the garnishes really help offset the sweetness of the Nasi Goreng. So if you get a chance to try it at a place near you, do try it. You won't regret it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and that Nasi Goreng is really good, I tell you that. I'll be making that one again, that's for sure. Next week it's going to be a double header, hopefully not as close in the fuel department, but I am looking at trying to experiment with more weather settings, ideally live weather, because that is a little bit more unpredictable. That's one of the best parts of playing Flight Simulator, of course. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time.